There's a level of folly that you might be expressing yourself in that you do not even know. There's a level that you are foolish and you know you are foolish. But there's another level that you are foolish and you don't know that you're expressing foolishness. You are doing business in Job. You are printing things in Job, education. And give me this guy, said Godin, give me somebody. And you are taking those principles and you are implementing in hook, line, sinker. You will fail. You are a failure. Process will establish a structure. When you have an idea, process, we beg it to push you to set down a structure. This idea, this disruptive idea, if it hits the market now and it doesn't work, what do we do next? I want you to understand that what is really sustainable doesn't really brag. It doesn't brag. The change that is dramatic really has no value. It really has no value. Really. Change that is sustainable really has no. You see the things that we use as the metrics of market entry in Nigeria. It really isn't. You know, so we focus so much on aesthetics that we fail to give time to structure. I will stretch a lot on the conversational process. Aesthetics. Look at why. In the last 2 months, we have had almost 4 tech startups that have shut down. Are you aware? 4. What does that tell you? It means that we are majoring on the minor things and we are minoring on the major things. The things that are very important. Structure. So let me tell you. Structure. We outplay any aesthetics game. You know why? When people interact with your brand and all they have is aesthetics will bring them. But you see, structure will chase them away. When they come into your brand and they realize that what they saw outside versus what they are experiencing is not the same, over time you will lose patronage. Does it make any sense to you? Let's talk about the people. Patricia, the guy that sponsored Big Brother Nigeria one time, right? So they put, I think it was ₦1 billion into it. Now they said they had almost 11 million subscribers after that. So it pushed them to increase their stake in Big Brother Nigeria. Now see what happens. If you truly had structure that has a process, you will break down. 11 million subscribers, 13 million. Does it translate into consistent usage? We all have apps on our phones that we have never used in the last 6 months. Your phone is like my phone. I used to use my Samsung phone. It will show you apps. After 6 months, it will show you the apps you've not used in a while and it will ask you if you should uninstall. So imagine over 13 million persons that subscribe to a package, and because of aesthetics and no structure, they rush to put money again. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Disruption that will be sustainable must have a process to it. You must have a process. You've heard this man, Bishop David Oyedepo, you've heard him say a lot of times that people celebrate where Winner Chapel is now. He said, and most people are surprised that Winner Chapel, he said this somewhere around, I think this was either 2012 or 2013. And he said that if they had not come to this point, then he would have been surprised. I don't know if you understand. If they had not come to that point of results, that would actually be the surprise to him, not even the result. You know why? Because the results that they are seeing have been created over time in a series of process. Does it make any sense to you? So result is predictable when there's a process. So if you put a process to it, you will realize that when you come to that point of result, it will not be a surprise because you have been working and talking the result until it became flesh. Does it make any sense to you? Good. So now we talked about sustainable disruption. That which is sustainable. Too many times you find that the excitement of idea. How many of you know what ideation is? Ideation. Now I always tell people, I say that no matter how excited an idea is, don't jump with too much excitement. Don't jump. Do you know that when you conceive an idea and it enters your mind, everything inside of you believes that thing is possible? Are you aware? Yeah. There is no doubt in the stage of ideation. Once you receive an idea, everything inside of you believes and you will stay there for hours. God, what did Ope do? I walk up to any of their observing. I was observing the market. How many of you know that Ope had been in existence before this whole revelation of Ope? Are you aware? Noiseless. Are you seeing what I'm telling you? Noiseless. Noiseless. When you have a creative idea, when you have an idea that will bring change, that will innovate, the first thing you think is how you can make it big into the market. You don't think of how this idea can last the test of time. Talk about that. Now let's move on. What's the first thing that process will do? Process will establish structure. Process will establish structure. Process will establish structure. Ideas are good, but how do you get them into the market? On a group of lawyers, or in a group where we have some lawyer friends, somebody asks a question. You're trying to enter into a contract, and then the tech company, and they get to build a product and all of that, and they need a solution, how to draft the agreement and all of that. So when they ask that question, I gave them a response. I sent a voice note and it cleared the air for them. But it made me realize something, that over the years of doing business, I have come to build a certain level of experience from creating business structures. There are certain kind of conversations that you cannot give until you have the experience. I know what I'm telling you. In this very Port Harcourt, 2016, 2017, there were teachings that were going on in this Port Harcourt around everywhere. Conferences, seminars. Most of those things were just talk, chaff. If you have been around long, you should know this conversation. If most of the conversations that were around were chaff, it wasn't bad conversation, but it had no roots. You see that thing where they say, and then the storm came, right? You say the word, you receive the word, but it didn't take root. The rain came, the storm came, and then it took it away. Now see, plenty conversations coming up with theories, with head knowledge. Now we have chat GPT. Then it was people read. Now the knowledge conversation, they were pioneering these conversations. I've never applied that strategy to any real market. There's a point I want to enter. I'm trying to hold myself. Oluji just said something. He said there's a level of folly that you might be expressing yourself in that you do not even know. He said that there's a level that you are foolish and you know you are foolish. But there's another level that you are foolish and you don't know that you're expressing foolishness. It means that you are foolish for expecting to take solution. You are running a business. You refuse to find a mentor and you get aesthetics and you apply it to your business and it doesn't. Are you aware that right now, from 2020 till now, a lot of the people that were pushing for foreign mentors are now saying that the theories they have do not apply to Nigeria? You are printing things in Job, education, and give me this guy, Seth Godin, give me somebody, and you are taking those principles and you are implementing in Google Center. You will fail. You are a failure. You fail. There's something called domestication. If you truly, that's what I'm saying, that process will establish a structure there. If it hits the market now, do you know that process prepares you for eventualities? Are you aware? Now, excitement will want you to push the product into the market and believe the positive outcome. And when I dig and expand, the difference in these two things is the amount of money you're willing to waste to grow experience, to build collaborations, to gain value. Paul, your mistakes are small, just 20K. But if you start big and your budget for marketing is 20 million, if it flops, 20 million is gone down the drain. Do you know how many plots of land to give? If you have that 20 million now, as I live here, follow me. Follow me. I know what I will tell you. Something between the both of us that we're going to have good value. But you get my point. So you start small, your mistakes are small. That's what process does. Do you know that? Do you know people that already share the conversation about Pepsi and Big? They don't have the kind of capacity that they have. So given a short while, they will fail. It's a good posture to take. Have you heard the conversation of underdogs? Let me tell you something. You can progress so fast in destiny. Take that posture. I told you about that song. You never see. When competition sees you coming, they prepare for you. So what do you begin to do? How many of you are trying to do a business? You're trying to enter into an industry and you do proper market analysis. How many of you don't do it? When you just wake up, I want to create an app, that this app I want to do now, it will eliminate all forms of human interaction in this line of business. Boom, you stand up. You call developer, you pay money, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Before boom. Or you are a tailor, and the next thing you say, I want to start making the kind of dress that will have air conditioners inside of it, that when women move, they don't get stressed. These things are beautiful. But what process will do for you is, it will make you pause. Process is not as exciting as intention. It's not as exciting. It makes you think. It will question, do you know, and I'll explain something. That process is manifested in our lives in certain ways. Number one, process is manifested in the people we have around us. There are people you know that if you take this idea to them, they are not excited in the beauty of the idea. Their mind is structured to think about why the idea will fail. Before you go, and I'm not against prayer. I'm not against prayer. I'm pastor. I'm not against prayer. I'm not against prayer. For the last 11 to 12 years, I've been actively involved in raising people, pastor the church. So I know the place of faith. I know the spirituality involved. But I'm telling you now, it is not all. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not all. I want was born out of rebellion. Rebellion is not a bad thing. Rebellion is like money. Money is not bad. It only takes the shape of who is using it. That's the same thing with rebellion. It only takes the shape of the person that is expressing it. So it will mix with motive and intent. Everybody saw the apple fall. Only Newton asked why. Only Newton. So we now have a theory that we have been studying in school all the years because of one man. Oh, I'm trying not to get too excited. Everybody saw the apple fall. Our forefathers, your forefathers, my forefathers, and I blame my forefathers. But let me leave them. They all saw the apple fall from the tree, and they will pick it and eat. They will play love with your great grandmother under that apple. And they never ask the question, why? What makes this thing wrong? Curiosity began to open. Somebody began to question. Could it be that there is something? When they thought and thought and thought, and there was nothing else to name it, they now named it after himself. Isaac Newton's door. There are things I want to expand. If I expand it, I will leave the line of what I'm sharing. Everybody saw the apple fall. So the moment the Newton's theory came out, curiosity to question why this is possible to think. Are you not aware that most of us were you're not asking? Something on the other end. Something. Think, guys, think. What if? I've thought about it. I have. They are too religious. They are too religious. I've thought about it. I questioned what I was taught in school. What if really there's no? What if? And I came to the conclusion. You see, when you have unanswered questions, your soul is vulnerable to deception. But when you find answer to questions, your conviction is strengthened. It's peace in the soul. There's peace in your soul. As I'm here, no soul, nobody, living or dead, can convince me that God doesn't know me. Me as I'm here, Kai. I've prayed to God, I've seen results. And even when he didn't, there's a scripture I read one time. The Bible says, God expects you to have basic comprehension ability. When the Bible says, and all things to work for you, explain what it means. If something happened to you last year, another bad experience happens to you this year, a good experience happens in between. With the accumulation of all these experiences, it means that all these things are working together for good. Let me give you an example. If you lose your phone today, That phone you lost has just gained employment. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. If you lose a loved one, that experience has just been employed into the labor force of God to begin to work for your good. So you don't sit down and cry when things happen to you. No, you are gaining more laborers. Let me tell you something. In 2 years, I lost my father, I lost my mother. 2 years. I handled the burial for the both of them. It cost me millions. And it's not even something to cry. It's something to cry about. Because how can we spend millions to bury a soul that is gone? The person knows nothing about the burial, the person will not eat the rice, the person will not wear the cloth. Even the money you spend to dress the person at the burial, the person has no knowledge. It's gone and gone. But something happened to me. It was in that season I found this scripture. In that season, I told myself, this experience cannot just waste. I confess a lot that period when people hear me talk and they say, I always tell them I'm an orphan. They repeated, I say I'm an orphan, I'm an orphan, I'm an orphan. People, I was making a joke with it, but they did not understand. I was activating a knowledge I had. The last 2 years of my life, I have touched the highest amount of money I can ever think of. I'm telling you, Flavie, that will thank God again. You waste your experience. Right? I've mentioned that sustainable change is noiseless, right? I mentioned that sustainable like it sounds alike. When it came to me in my mind, I'm going to wonder why process and procedure. Let me tell you something. If you have a critical mind, you would stumble into a realm where you would have the ability to generate theories and words that you never knew existed. One day, 2013, 2012, I was walking on the streets of Uniport. I was in front of Alakaya Uniport main gate. And then the word susceptible came to my spirit. I had never seen it or heard it anywhere before. Susceptible. I had to check it. I paused. I brought my phone. I checked it. And instantly, I knew that there was a realm that if you open yourself up to a certain depth of understanding, words begin to come towards your direction. Because words like ideas are seeking expression. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So they would always come to you because they know you will unleash it. I'm telling you. So let me go back. So process-based procedure, right? So process establishes an objective. Now, procedure is to lay down steps in achieving that objective. Does it make sense? Now, so when you have an idea, you want to put into the market, an idea you want to execute in your life. Alright? So you now say, okay, how do I begin to achieve it? You now begin to lay down step by step. Now, we talked about structure at first. Structure creates the framework that the business will rest on, the idea will rest on, right? So structure says that we should not have more than 2 employees in our first year. We should not have more than 3 employees in our first year. Or we should not go beyond certain amount of salaries or certain amount of expenditure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Structure keeps you guided, keeps you within a framework, right? But procedure now gives you step-by-step implementation. So what do you need to do? So who are the kind of persons you need to, products you need to have? So when you begin to do procedure, it now makes you realize that you should go for quality. So what this means is that because you want to go the next 3 years without having to change the cushion in your reception, does it make sense? You want to go next 3 years without to change the cushion in your reception, you will now spend money to get quality that can last you for 3 years. Rather than going for something that has good aesthetics but lacks quality. Does it make any sense? Are you following me? That you must understand what's the quality of wood that is used in making this chair. You are breaking that into procedure. What's the quality of wood? How much does it cost? How long can it last? Is it susceptible to woodpeckers? Susceptible to all these things that destroy chairs? When you look at all of these things, you now say, okay, this is a perfect fit. You put it in. What do we do? After the next 1 year, we need to expand. But you must realize that you must consciously engage in setting up procedures. How to achieve that thing you want to innovate, that thing you want to do. Is there a roadmap? Is it sustainable? Your God today, can somebody follow the dictates of what you have done to still achieve it? Do you know that most of these scientific inventions you celebrate were not started by the people that you celebrate? Are you aware? That someone else might have started that invention, but they left the process. They documented a roadmap that the person that came after was able to follow through makes a lot of sense. I'm sure I'll conclude with something. We know about the conversation of Netflix and Blockbuster. You know that, right? That Netflix came into the scene and tried to change what Blockbuster was doing, right? So before I state that, I want to state that process gives room for learning and growth. When you test and decide to make CD rentals and all of that, do you know that they tried it in the market, it did not work? They came back. When they came up with the live streaming app, the Netflix you have now was not the Netflix that started. What you have now is the upgraded version as a result of market learning and experience. So they hit the market, saw reality, they came back, and they came up with a new and upgraded pattern to express what they wanted to disrupt, and they disrupted everything about Blockbuster until today. Guys, forget anything I said. Don't forget the fact that everybody saw it now before. Only Newton asked why. That's the reason why you're studying Isaac Newton's law of gravity in school. I was about to end with this point. I remember something that always annoys me over the years. That what we call education is obsolete. Our education in Nigeria is really, really obsolete. I want to share something with you. Sorry, Jack. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Are you aware that most of what we study in school currently, or what truly is education? Education, who taught the first man that created education? Let's leave that. What we call education currently now is the fact that you go to school, you spend money, pay people to teach you other people's discoveries. Follow me. And then, at the end of learning other people's discoveries, you are now tested on your ability to assimilate and reproduce their discoveries. What truly is knowledge and education supposed to be? It's supposed to be the feeding of the mind to unleash you into a place of creativity where you can generate your own theories, make your own discoveries. Now see the annoying part. That if you are unable to reproduce what that person taught, they call you a failure. Are you aware that plenty academically certified failures are not failures? Yeah. Come on, guys. Why do you think the top class guys are the guys making the biggest brands in the world? Come on. These are the guys that when they sit in class, you are concerned about reproducing what you were taught. They are concerned about reproducing solutions for the world. When these guys see the apple fall and they learn the theory of gravity, this guy is thinking, what else is falling in society and nobody is asking questions? That's how fintechs were born. That's how all the solutions we see are born. That's how these things happen. Because somebody is in an environment that they are immersed in the knowledge of other people, the inventions and the creations of other people, and something is happening to the essential core of their being. I want to submit to you tonight that of utmost supreme importance is the fact that when you sit in a room of knowledge, something inside of you must constantly ask the question, what is the solution that is buried in your core? Thank you very much. There's a level of folly that you might be expressing yourself in that you do not even know. There's a level that you are foolish and you know you are foolish. But there's another level that you are foolish and you don't know that you're expressing foolishness. You are doing business in Tio. You are printing, you are implementing a hook line center.
adopt a lot when it comes to challenging the status quo, which is what the intent is today, is to begin to use the methodology of questioning, just basically asking why or what. What does change mean to you? A lot of people have very diverse meaning to what change is. But I think at the bottom line of it is the fact that it is an alteration to what we're used to. It's basically, however you want to look at it, from the standpoint of career, from the standpoint of even your religious perspective, however you want to look at it, it's about change to what we're used to. So, looking at the society that we live in right now, we realize that we've experienced some level of change. And as a matter of fact, it pales in comparison, or what used to be pales in comparison to the level of change that we had before now. You see, that whole change that happened within, assurance for certainty, C stands for complexity, and of course, A stands for ambiguity. Now, this is what the society disruption. So the society is not just focalized, it's actually focused, because there is disruption right at the bottom of it. And when you are faced with challenges like this, two things happen to you. One is the fact that, or a lot of things happen to you. One is the fact that you're going to have a lot of stress, confusion, major things, hopelessness and suicide. And why do you have hopelessness and suicide? Because those two are Siamese twins that are responsible for the destruction of what is possible. For a lot of people in the general space will look at and say, oh, this is what change means. In the midst of COVID-19, others shutting down their economy, and it seems like the whole world was collapsing. People who understand how to create change and take advantage of change and advance the change that happens in their life were aspiring to become what we call the interplanetary species. So we got the likes of UAE right in the middle of COVID, jetting all themselves away to the Mars. We've got the likes of China do that as well. So what does that tell you? Despite the fact that all of these countries or continents or world powers hold significant power, they wield significant power when it comes to the control of the global environment, they realize that that is not, in the midst of the whole challenge, that is not the time to clip your wings and go home. It was actually the time to spread your wings and fly. What do we regard as change? What does change mean to you? For me, one of the methodology I prefer and adopt a lot when it comes to challenging the status quo, which is what the intent is today, is to begin to use the methodology of questioning, just basically asking why or what. What does change mean to you? A lot of people have very diverse meaning to what change is. But I think at the bottom line of it is the fact that